The fire started in the upstairs driveway side entrance bedroom. I won't mention whose room it started in because everybody knows and it hasn't been resolved yet. So I was downstairs. I was preparing for a catering gig I had for a very cool, famous mushroom guy, 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away. I was catering an all mushroom 3-course meal situation. I was so proud of myself. I was listening to Elvis. I was belting it out. My dad had just passed not much earlier. It's very emotional for me. He loved Elvis. So it's like listening to Elvis and thinking about my dad and cooking and going back and forth betwixt the kitchen, which had the second story catwalk to the room that the fire started in, and crossing over into a living room where I was harvesting another plant with a couple friends of mine. We're in the middle of harvesting, and I was in the middle of catering an event. And we were watching the Muppets, of all things. We were watching like season 2 or season 3. And I was going back in the kitchen and rocking out to Elvis and like crying about my dad and like cooking mushrooms and thinking about the future and going back into the Muppet room and harvesting. And I heard this pop. It sounded like a glass broke. And knowing that there were several cats on hand, I assumed a cat had knocked something down. I was like, whatever, the cat knocked something down, okay, cool. And then in 20 minutes, the kids, twin boys, 14, maybe 15 at that point, and a friend, kids, but like teenagers, came running in from outside. They were hot tubbing in a makeshift hot tub we made with a horse trough. They came running in and they're like, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. And that's kind of when I realized that popping sound I heard was something other than just glass breaking from a cat. So I ran upstairs, and sure enough, his bedroom was on fire. And at that point, we went into full on, I'm really good in a panic. I'm really good in a emergency. Like, I know how to show the F up. And my partner, my lover, my love of my life at the time, ran outside to get a hose and brought the hose up. And I was upstairs beating things with blankets and beating things with fabric. And he brought the hose up and turned it on. And I was like, spraying everything down, and I thought, and I almost got it like 2 or 3 times. I almost got it out. Little did I realize that the fire was started from an exploded kerosene lamp. You can't put kerosene out with water. You can kind of smother it, but you really need sand and dirt. And I didn't know that. I fought it, and there was a point where I kept fighting the fire, not realizing I almost got it so many times I couldn't walk away. And there was a point where I heard the woman's voice from next door, from the church, screaming out, "Lilu, I'm scared. What's going on?" And she was hosing down her building, which was only like 1.5 feet or 2 feet. We almost shared a wall behind, and the neighbors were there, and they were all outside on the ground floor. I was 2 stories up, and I was hosing it down. I was like, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And I was like hosing it down, and I almost got it out. And I backed down the hallway, and it veered up to the ceiling, which is just a pitched roof. It wasn't that much higher. And it licked from behind me and around. It licked my hair and singed my hair. And then it looked at me, and it was taller than me, and it looked down at me, And I almost got it. And I was like, this is it, mother cracker. I got you. And it turned like a dragon. It looked at me. And then it popped off through a skylight and onto the roof. And then started licking the roof. And that's when I realized, like, we're done here. I'm done here. And I came to a little bit and I was like, where is everybody? Nobody was in the house. They all exited the house. The fire people were there. No one knew I was in there. I had no hair left. Well, I'd say I had a third of my hair left. It was singed. My eyelashes were gone. I had looked in the belly of the beast. It looked me in the eyes. It jumped on the roof and it was like, ha ha ha. And I was like, okay. Now I'm scared. So then I exited stage left, ran down. It was a steps, spiral staircase, made of cast iron, hot to the touch, couldn't touch anything, and so tight, like you get kind of vertigo just going down. And I got down to where the Muppets were still playing. I looked in the kitchen. I just was like, oh, the fire people are here. They're gonna put it out. It's gonna be okay. Go outside. It never occurred to me. My bedroom was right there. My harvest was right there. It never occurred to me to save anything because I didn't realize that they were going to let the house burn down. Because once it passes a certain point, they don't put themselves in danger. They just stand by and let it kind of burn out and then save all the buildings around. Silly me, I went out the back door. I coulda, woulda, shoulda, bleh. I could have done everything. I could have grabbed my furs, my kimono, my pictures of my dad, the leather belt, the motorcycle jacket, like everything I just inherited from my dad's death never occurred to me to grab. Because it never occurred to me that my house was burning down. And that's the end of part 3. And we'll talk more soon. Happy All Souls Day. They're around us. They're here. Mwah.